Kagurabachi, the manga that somehow ended up with some of the biggest expectations I've ever seen. I first heard about it maybe a year ago and honestly, it was everywhere. No matter where I went online, people were talking about it. Memes, posts, hype videos, it was non-stop. And not gonna lie, that actually made me avoid it for a while. Not because it looked bad or anything, but just everyone wouldn't shut up about it. You know that feeling when something gets so overhyped that it kind of turns you off, right? Yeah, that was me. But last month, I finally decided to check it out, and now I get it. I caught up with the whole thing in less than a week, and honestly, it's pretty damn good. So let's talk about it. What made Kagurabachi maybe the most anticipated series to get an anime adaptation, and why this but no other manga? So at first, Kagurabachi's story seems pretty standard for a shonen. Main character's father gets killed, and now he is out for revenge, nothing we haven't seen before, right? Chihiro, our main character, starts off as your typical age dude. All black quotes, super serious, barely shows emotion, and he has no issue cutting down people he calls evildoers. At least that's how he seems in the beginning. But honestly, if that was all there was to it, Kagurabachi wouldn't have gotten this popular. As the story moves forward, Chihiro starts to feel way more layered. He is not just some revenge-obsessed guy. The more he learns about the world and the stuff that happened in the past, the more he starts questioning himself and everything he believed in. He actually grows, and you can see it. And the side characters help to push that too. At the start, his only goal is to take down the people who killed his dad, no matter what. But later on, when it comes down to either staying on that path or saving a friend, he chose his friend, even though it could mess up his whole mission. I still think there is room for improvement, but I already like him a lot as a protagonist. And if his development keeps going strong, he could end up being one of the better shonen main characters out there. Now let's talk about the art. It's honestly insane. To me, it kinda feels like a mix between Gege and Fujimoto's styles. Some of the expressions straight up remind me of Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch. I couldn't unsee it. And when the characters face each other, the panels give heavy Jujutsu Kaisen vibes. But even though it feels inspired by those series, it still manages to have its own thing going on. The art has its own energy. It's super clean, super gory, which I'm definitely into. I don't think there is a single chapter without someone's head flying. The fights are drawn so well too, everything is easy to follow, there is no confusion about what's happening, which, let's be honest, isn't always the case in shonen, especially from a new author. The character designs are solid, the drip is actually sick, I don't have a single complaint about the art, for real. And the craziest part, this is Hukazono Sensei's first serialized manga. Before Kagurabachi, he would only done a few one-shots. That is wild to me, this dude is not playing around. His talent is one of a kind. But what makes this story truly amazing is the plot itself. Let me give you just a small glimpse of it. A mysterious group known as Hishaku murders the protagonist's father to steal a set of legendary swords, blades he forged long ago as the greatest blacksmith in the nation. This man was once hailed as a hero, credited for ending a devastating war thanks to the weapons he created. Now years later, his son and our protagonist Chihiro is hungry to avenge him and starts searching for clues that can help him find this organization. As he digs deeper though, what begins as a revenge story slowly unravels into something far more complex. The past, as it turns out, isn't just black and white, it's a murky shade of grey. There is an arc where he witnessed just a glimpse of the strongest sword his father forged, and its power feels wrong. It is too destructive, too unnatural, even Chihiro begins to question everything he was taught about the weapon's legacy. Could this really be the power that saved the country, or is that just the story people wanted to believe? Well, let's say that the line between good and evil is very thin. The Hishaku group claims that their goal is to keep the swords from being used again, to prevent future calamities. But how can they be trusted when their hands are stained with the blood of thousands? And yet, maybe they have a point. Maybe this power should never be wielded, or maybe they just want it for themselves. What is true and what is not is pretty much unknown, only the time will show us who is right and who is wrong. A big part of Kagurabachi's success is definitely the plot, but what really keeps people hooked are the fights and the power system. In this world, you've got sorcerers with all kinds of wild abilities, teleportation, pocket dimensions, even some we probably haven't seen yet. But interestingly, sorcerers aren't the main focus. The story really revolves around the enchanted blades. These swords were forged using a rare material called Datenseki, and the only person who could stabilize that power into actual weapons was Chihiro's father, the most skilled blacksmith in the country. He crafted 6 enchanted blades, each one with unique abilities. Some are tied to elements like fire or lightning, while others can bend reality itself. They were so powerful that they basically ended a war 18 years ago, which turned his father into a national hero. But there is actually a 7th sword. After Hishaku assassinated Rukuhira, Chihiro started using that final blade. The thing is, no one knows when it was forged or what its full potential is, which makes it even more interesting, and I'm sure we will find out pretty soon. And what's really fascinating is how the swords work. When someone draws one of those blades, they form an internal contract with it. No one can use its power unless the current wielder is killed. When its bearer, as they are called in the show, is dead, the next person who draws the sword becomes the new user. And then we get into the idea of the true realm. Each sword has a hidden power or deeper state that can only be accessed when the wielder fully understands and syncs with the blade. It's not just about strength, it's about connection. If the user doesn't have control, the sword can turn against him. There are even hints that emotions might affect the sword's abilities, but that part is still kind of a mystery for now. As for the fights, they are on another level. The choreography, the hype, the raw intensity, especially in battles between enchanted blade users, is consistently top tier. Every arc brings something new, and somehow the fights keep getting better and better. The only other series in recent years that actually can compare in terms of fight hype or art style is Jujutsu Kaisen at its peak, and that's saying a lot. If you ask me, should you go and read Kagurabachi? My answer would be to go get some popcorns, cause this series is going to hype the shit out of you. I genuinely thought that it would be a typical shonen before reading it, but it's not even close. Although it's not something unseen before, I think Kagurabachi takes what is good about this genre and exceeds at almost every aspect that matters, and that is the main reason for its phenomenal success. It is one of the few series that actually match the hype that the fanbase give it, and I would say it deserves it every last bit. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me if you agree with my opinion, and until next time.